Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tuesday noon here, and we're going to talk about Tropical Storm Nicole, soon to be Hurricane Nicole, heading towards Bahamas and Florida. I am heading over to the East Coast, so this will probably be the last live video. This thing's going to start coming in on Wednesday tomorrow, and landfall tomorrow, Wednesday night into Thursday. So it's knocking on our doors here, at least in the state of Florida. This is what it looks like right now, and you can see this dry air is becoming less of an issue. This is a lot of moisture wrapping around Nicole right now, strengthening. Some of the latest imagery here on weathernerds.org. You can see a lot of lightning. A lot of the thunderstorms are now getting closer to the center, which is making it a true tropical system now rather than subtropical. So we're seeing that. Even on satellite here, it almost looks like it's really starting to organize. NAC is capping it at 75 miles an hour, though. So that's the official forecast. Hurricane warnings are up for the state of Florida, but I'm seeing models showing a little higher, category 1 into 2 range. So I still think that we're going to see this thing surprise a little bit as it makes the final approach. NHC updates at 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock. They'll have a new track at 4 and 10, both AM, PM. The wind field of this system is large. You can see that right here. Everything in yellow is tropical storm force winds, and we're going to have tropical storm force winds all the way through the state, up in parts of the Panhandle, and across the whole eastern seaboard as we have an approaching front. So everything yellow here, tropical storm force winds, and the blues and the reds are getting towards the hurricane strength winds. But timing puts the tropical storm force winds as early as tomorrow morning, Wednesday, for South Florida, and it's going to react to a curve here. We got a cold front coming down, really cool cold air coming down this weekend. The storm is going to accelerate super fast in a 24-hour time span. Should be out of here by Saturday morning for most everybody, leaving a pretty nice weekend. But we do have effects coming with this frontal boundary that I'm going to show. Heavy rainfall north, kind of like a nor'easter setting up. But everything's pretty cut and dry. We look at some of the maps that I have on my site. Remember, spaghettimodels.com. We have a surge all the way from Savannah River all the way down to South Florida. Can see surge. 3 to 5 foot is the heaviest they're predicting right now. Important to note, if this thing gets stronger, we can see the surge increase a little bit. And we're seeing surge now on the Florida West Coast. That's because our system is expected to come through the state, but we're going to have backside storms on Thursday. They're going to wrap around and push some water into the west coast of Florida, if you're wondering why there's surge on the other coast. Rainfall is not looking like an Ian setup. However, we are seeing portions possibly nearing double digits. Anytime you get a tropical system, you can get rain trains where systems just spiral in, let's say, and they don't move much. So we could see, some isolated upwards, double digits, but we're not seeing Ian style, but we will see flooding. The other concern is this constant wind blowing for 2-3 days into the St. Johns River. A lot of discussion about salt water getting into the river, causing more headaches, more river rise on top of some of these rains. So St. John's could be an issue on developing. Tornadoes are always a big issue with tropical systems, spiraling squall lines. We already got SPC mentioned in this for tomorrow on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, as our system starts to pull out of here, more areas that could see potential for tornadoes. So tornadoes are always, a real possibility. As far as individual modeling goes, the HWAR is kind of the worst case scenario. It's got me a little not concerned, but the HWAR is a really good model when it comes to intensity, and it's been really consistent on predicting something in the 970 millibar range, which is a pretty strong category 1, possible 2. So keep that in mind here. We could see a really developing system here on approach. It still has another 36 hours, over those warm waters. Water temperatures are above normal right now. They're 82, 83, 84 degrees. Ocean heat content runs deep. That's how hot the water goes. And we're really in a light sheared wind environment. So there's really nothing stopping this from developing. So we got to really pay attention here on west central Florida. As far as individual model maps go, though, let's take a look at the latest, just kind of give it in perspective here on things you can see. This is the latest Icon 985. Notice this large wind field pushing against the eastern seaboard and Florida. So that's been the story all along. Huge winds out there in the Atlantic, 40, 50, 60-foot seas out there in the open waters. They won't make the coast, but winds blow that water in, surge, and coastal erosion is the big story, unfortunately. A lot of areas definitely going to be experiencing some of the worst beach erosion they've ever seen on the Florida East Coast up towards into Georgia some. So that's definitely a concern. But there's your latest icon, and they all cut through the state here. You can see that nothing's changed really much in the forecasting. It's gonna merge with an approaching frontal line. Central Florida could see tropical storm force, maybe hurricane gust. This is going to be a strong system. It's going to be kind of like Charlie was in a sense when it came through the middle of the state, kind of like Irma, a little bit like Ian when it crossed through the state. Still showing 980 pressure in the middle part of the state. And once this thing starts getting closer to the Gulf side, now we're going to see squall lines coming around the backside, bottom side, potentially bringing some squally weather into parts of the Florida West Coast. And then we got the Panhandle. Panhandle's still watching for potential storms. So none of that's changed. The little track bumps to the north, we have seen that. Some of the latest spaghetti models just came out. Let's take a look at Tropical Tidbits here. Take a look at their models. As a matter of fact, I think we got some here. There you go. So pretty high confidence. This thing is tracked a little to the north. Melbourne, Cape, Daytona areas. This thing is trending north. North side of the center is usually who gets, the rough stuff. The eye north gets the big surge, counterclockwise flow. All that water pushes up. But it is a wide system, and we can see tropical storm force winds all the way across the state. Not your typical little tiny system. And then as far as the East Coast goes, we'll open up the picture here. This is all Tropical Tidbits, of course. This is kind of what we're seeing. Our system is going to merge with a really strong cold front, and it is going to become pretty significant across Virginia northeastward. Heavy rains, very heavy rains. Could have some flooding rains for portions of the northeast to watch as it gets on out of here. So, three stories here we got. We got coastal flooding, beach erosion, landfalling hurricane, West Coast, Central Florida impacts, and then, of course, our merging of a front with whatever's left of Nicole. So, lots to watch. It's pretty significant. So tonight, I got a special guest. We're going to do a Zoom call with Kevin Guthrie, and he is the head director there, the Florida disaster.org, I believe the website. Let's take a look here, make sure that's right while we chit-chat. So that's a special. We're going to talk about Florida and exactly what we could be seeing. Yes, so it's FloridaDisaster.org, Division of Emergency Management. So we're going to have Kevin Guthrie on as a special guest talking about Florida and impacts. That's tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm storm chasing, so we'll be there. Check the channels, YouTube, check Facebook, check Twitter. I'll be posting videos, updates, streaming live tomorrow as the storm approaches. All right? So be safe out there. Listen to your local advisories. New updates coming out all the time. A lot of warnings have already been issued, and I'm sure we're going to see evacuations coming for parts of those islands that are facing the Atlantic. So, all right, we'll see you next time. Thanks for subscribing here on Mike's Weather Page, and let's be safe out there. All right, bye.